Lupita Nyong'o, known around the world for her incredible performance in 12 Years a Slave, has faced her own set of daunting challenges, both personal and professional, on her journey to success. But there was a moment, a profound, life-changing moment, that truly shifted her perspective. That moment came when she met the Dalai Lama on February 26, 2014, during a special event at the California Science Center in Los Angeles. What did she gain from this meeting? How did it change her outlook? Organized by the Lourdes Foundation, this encounter marked a pivotal point in Lupita's life, reinforcing the values she had always cherished: compassion, self-acceptance, and, most importantly, inner peace. Inspired by Lupita's journey? Subscribe channel for more stories of resilience, compassion, and transformation. Biography. Early life and rise to fame. Lupita Nyong'o was born on March 1, 1983, in Mexico City, Mexico, to Kenyan parents, Dorothy Ogadabuyu and Peter Anyang Nyong'o. Her father was a visiting lecturer in political science, and later, he became a prominent Kenyan politician. Lupita is the second of 6 children, and her family returned to Kenya when she was less than a year old. Growing up in Nairobi, Lupita was encouraged to explore her creative talents from an early age. She participated in school plays and was passionate about the arts. Lupita pursued higher education in the United States, attending Hampshire College, where she graduated with a degree in film and theater studies. She then went on to earn a Master of Fine Arts degree from the Yale School of Drama, where her talent was quickly recognized. Before her big break, she worked on the production crew of several films, including The Constant Gardener and The Namesake. Her acting career truly took off when she was cast as Patsy in 12 Years a Slave, a role that earned her an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in 2014. This achievement made her the first Kenyan and Mexican actress to win an Oscar. The struggles before meeting the Dalai Lama. Lupita's challenges went far beyond the usual hurdles faced by rising stars. As a woman of African descent, born in Mexico and raised in Kenya, she constantly struggled with issues of identity, belonging, and representation. Breaking into Hollywood was not just a career challenge, it was a deeply personal confrontation with an industry and a world that predominantly upheld Eurocentric beauty ideals. Imagine growing up in a world where dark skin was often dismissed as less beautiful. How does a young girl find her worth in a place that refuses to see her beauty? Lupita often spoke openly about the emotional battles she faced growing up. It was tough to live in a world that undervalued dark skin, and this led to struggles with self-worth that could have easily broken anyone's spirit. Even after her rapid rise to fame following 12 Years a Slave, new challenges surfaced. Her portrayal of Patsy, a slave enduring unimaginable pain, won her praise, but the spotlight also brought a harsh reality: public scrutiny. Fame arrived with its own baggage, and Lupita had to grapple with the industry's expectations about beauty, behavior, and image. How exhausting it must have been to constantly try to live up to these unrealistic standards. It wasn't just her career, her personal life came with its own set of emotional challenges. Relationships and heartbreak were part of her journey. Lupita later opened up about how betrayals and emotional wounds made her question the illusion of perfect relationships portrayed on social media. It's a feeling many of us have had, the sense that everyone else seems to have it all together, while our own lives are filled with uncertainty and pain. For Lupita, these moments were more than setbacks, they were lessons in embracing the complexities of life and understanding that pain is part of personal growth. Encounter with the Dalai Lama, a moment of reflection and renewal. When Lupita met the Dalai Lama, she was already navigating these emotional storms. This meeting at the California Science Center was more than just a public event, it was a chance to connect with one of the world's most revered spiritual leaders. What could be more inspiring than sitting across from someone who has spent his life spreading messages of compassion and peace? During a Q&A session, Lupita had the opportunity to engage in a conversation that gave her new insights. The Dalai Lama's teachings on self-compassion and inner beauty seem to resonate with Lupita's evolving philosophy. Imagine being reminded that your worth is not defined by anyone else's standards, not by the critics, not by the audience, not by society's impossible ideals. His emphasis on focusing on inner peace over external validation would have been a balm to someone like Lupita, who had often felt the pressure of fitting into a mold. This encounter appeared to be a moment of spiritual grounding for her, a reminder to stay true to herself, no matter what the world demanded. Post-encounter impact, compassion as a way of life. After meeting the Dalai Lama, Lupita began to embody these values more openly. She started to speak about embracing her identity and beauty on her own terms, rejecting the need for external validation. She said, time and again, that real beauty lies within, that it begins with compassion for oneself and others. Isn't this something we all need to hear more often? In a world obsessed with appearances, Lupita chose to redefine beauty as a state of being, a manifestation of the love we hold for ourselves and those around us. Her humanitarian work also reflected this new direction. She became a vocal advocate for marginalized communities, including women and minorities, using her platform to push for empathy and social change. Her campaigns against racism and gender inequality were in line with the Dalai Lama's teachings, that compassion, even from one individual, can make a difference in the world. This philosophy was evident in her advocacy, her storytelling, and her commitment to uplifting the stories of those often left unheard. Lupita began working closely with various organizations to promote social justice and equality. One such organization is Wild Aid, where Lupita became a global ambassador to promote awareness about wildlife conservation. Her love for animals and commitment to protecting endangered species stemmed from her upbringing in Kenya, where she grew up witnessing the beauty of the natural world. Her role with Wild Aid highlights her belief that compassion extends beyond humans to include all living beings. The Dalai Lama's teachings on interconnectedness resonated deeply with her, and she used her influence to help safeguard the environment and its creatures. Lupita's journey into mindfulness also led her to explore yoga and meditation. In interviews, she has spoken about how these practices have helped her maintain balance in her busy life. She often described yoga as a space where she could let go of the pressures of fame and reconnect with herself. It wasn't about flexibility or strength. For Lupita, yoga was a form of self-compassion, a way to nurture her mind and body without judgment. The Dalai Lama's emphasis on inner peace found a natural outlet in her practice, allowing her to carry those teachings into her daily routine. And when life threw her more challenges, personal heartbreaks and emotional setbacks, she faced them with a renewed resilience. Lupita shared that her experiences with betrayal and public heartbreak had taught her the importance of accepting pain as an integral part of life. This echoes the Dalai Lama's view that suffering is universal, but if approached mindfully, it can be a path to growth and deeper compassion. Isn't that a powerful way to look at the pain we experience, not as something to be avoided but as a teacher, something that shapes us into stronger, more empathetic individuals? A life of mindfulness and service. The meeting with the Dalai Lama marked a transformation in Lupita's life. It reinforced her belief that service to others is more meaningful than personal fame or material success. As she continued to grow in her career, she made mindfulness and compassionate living central to her life. Whether speaking about beauty, working on humanitarian causes, or candidly discussing her own emotional struggles, Lupita lived by the Dalai Lama's teachings, that true peace is found within, and true happiness comes from living in service of others. Lupita has worked extensively with organizations like Mother Health International, which provide support for mothers and babies in impoverished areas around the world. She is passionate about maternal health and ensuring that all women have access to the care they need. Inspired by the Dalai Lama's message of love and compassion, Lupita used her platform to highlight the struggles faced by women globally, especially in marginalized communities. Her speeches and campaigns emphasized the importance of empathy, reminding us all that the well-being of one person affects the well-being of the whole community. Lupita also found herself becoming an advocate for mental health, especially in the context of minority communities where the topic is often stigmatized. She used her public influence to share her own struggles with self-worth and mental well-being, encouraging others to seek help without shame. In interviews, she often spoke about the importance of therapy and mindfulness as tools for healing. The Dalai Lama's teachings on mindfulness influenced her approach, and she became a voice for those struggling silently, urging them to prioritize their mental health. Her commitment to using her influence for good also extended to her role as an actress. Lupita chose roles that were meaningful to her and that highlighted the strength and complexity of marginalized voices. Whether playing Nakia in Black Panther, a character driven by the desire to help her people, or Adelaide in Us, exploring the duality of the human experience, Lupita brought depth, authenticity, and compassion to her performances. These roles were not just about acting, they were an extension of her belief in the power of storytelling to bring about social change. She understood the impact that representation could have on young people, especially those who, like her, had grown up without seeing themselves reflected on screen. The power of storytelling, changing narratives. Lupita's journey has been marked by her understanding of the power of storytelling. She has often spoken about how stories can change the world, how they can shape perceptions, challenge prejudices, and foster empathy. Growing up, she was influenced by the stories her mother told her, stories that celebrated African culture, resilience, and beauty. These narratives were in stark contrast to the ones she saw in mainstream media, which often depicted African people through a lens of poverty and suffering. As an actress and an advocate, Lupita made it her mission to change the narrative. She sought out roles that allowed her to portray the depth, beauty, and strength of African culture. Her performance in Black Panther was a testament to this, as the film broke barriers and reshaped the way African culture was portrayed in Hollywood. The film was more than a blockbuster, it was a cultural movement, and Lupita's role as Nakia embodied the themes of empowerment, unity, and love for one's community. It was the kind of story that Lupita herself had longed to see growing up, and now, she was part of creating it. Beyond her film roles, Lupita authored a children's book, Sulwe, which tells the story of a young girl struggling to embrace her dark skin in a society that favors lighter skin. The book, inspired by Lupita's own experiences, is a powerful exploration of colorism and self-acceptance. In Sulwe, Lupita brought the message of the Dalai Lama, that true beauty comes from within, to a younger audience. Through this story, she reached out to children who, like her younger self, needed to hear that they were beautiful just as they were. She wanted them to understand that their worth was not defined by the color of their skin, but by the kindness they held in their hearts. Embracing vulnerability, public speaking and advocacy. Lupita's transformation was also evident in her public speaking. She became known for her powerful speeches, which combined vulnerability with a call to action. Her speech at the Essence Black Women in Hollywood luncheon, where she spoke about her struggles with self-image and the impact of seeing herself represented on screen, resonated with many. She spoke to the young girls who, like her, had grown up feeling invisible. Her message was clear: you are enough. You are beautiful. Your dreams are valid. These words were not just a reflection of her own journey, they were an extension of the compassion she had learned from the Dalai Lama. Lupita understood that her platform was a gift, and she used it to uplift others. She often said that vulnerability was a strength, not a weakness, and that sharing our struggles could help others feel less alone. Her openness about her own insecurities made her relatable and allowed her to connect with people on a deeper level. It was this authenticity that made her not just a celebrity, but a role model. Lupita's advocacy extended to issues beyond race and beauty. She became an outspoken supporter of the #MeToo and Time's Up movements, using her voice to speak out against sexual harassment and abuse. In the entertainment industry, she shared her own experiences with courage, knowing that her story could help bring about change. The Dalai Lama's teachings on courage and compassion were evident in her actions. She spoke not out of anger, but out of a desire for justice and healing. She believed in the power of collective action and often emphasized that true change would only come when people stood together in solidarity. Finding balance, mindfulness in everyday life. In the midst of her busy career and advocacy work, Lupita found solace in mindfulness practices. She often spoke about the importance of finding balance and making time for self-care. Her journey into mindfulness began after her meeting with the Dalai Lama, and it became an essential part of her life. She described meditation as a way to reconnect with herself, to find stillness amid the chaos of fame and public life. It was her way of grounding herself, of reminding herself of what truly mattered. Lupita also found joy in simple, everyday activities that brought her peace. She loved to read, often sharing her favorite books with her followers on social media. Reading was a form of escape, a way to explore new worlds and ideas. She also found happiness in dancing, cooking, and spending time with loved ones. These moments of joy were her way of practicing mindfulness, of being fully present and appreciating the beauty in everyday life. The Dalai Lama's teachings on gratitude also became a guiding principle for Lupita. She often spoke about the importance of gratitude, even in difficult times. She kept a gratitude journal, where she wrote down the things she was thankful for each day. This practice helped her stay focused on the positive and reminded her of the many blessings in her life. It was a simple yet powerful way to cultivate inner peace and contentment. Legacy. Inspiring future generations. Lupita's journey is not just about her own personal growth, it is about the impact she has had on others. She has become a beacon of hope and inspiration for young people around the world, especially those who have felt marginalized or unseen. Her story is a testament to the power of resilience, compassion, and authenticity. She has shown that it is possible to overcome adversity, to find beauty in oneself, and to use one's voice for good. Through her work as an actress, author, and advocate, Lupita has left a lasting legacy. She has changed the way people view beauty, representation, and storytelling. She has shown that true beauty comes from within, that our worth is not defined by external standards, and that our voices matter. Her journey is a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter where we come from or what challenges we face. Lupita's encounter with the Dalai Lama was a turning point, but it was also just one moment in a lifelong journey of growth and transformation. She continues to live by the values she learned from that meeting: compassion, self-acceptance, and inner peace. And in doing so, she inspires others to do the same. Her story asks us all, what if we chose to live with more compassion? What if we embraced our vulnerabilities and used them to connect with others? What if we measured our lives not by our achievements, but by the love and kindness we shared? In a world that often feels divided, Lupita Nyong'o's journey is a powerful reminder of the importance of empathy, understanding, and unity. She has shown us that true fulfillment comes not from fame or success, but from living authentically, from being kind to ourselves and others, and from using our voices to uplift those around us. Her story is one of grace, courage, and unwavering compassion, a story that will continue to inspire for generations to come. Through her actions, Lupita embodies the wisdom she gained from her meeting with the Dalai Lama, that true beauty and fulfillment come not from external accomplishments but from inner tranquility and the kindness we show to those around us. It's a reminder that, in a chaotic world, the most powerful act we can do is simply to be kind, to ourselves and to